What's up, guys? I hope you're all crushing it and having an awesome day today. But you saw the title and thumbnail. Today we're going to be going over 5 reasons why I am still in love with the R35 GTR in 2022. And before we get into today's video, definitely be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new here. If you've been subscribed to the channel, click that little bell icon down there to turn on post notifications. It really does help me out an absolute ton as a smaller YouTuber. You guys have no idea how much it does mean to me. But without wasting any more time and getting right into the first reason, and also these are in no particular order, but the first reason, which is pretty obvious, is got to be the price. Even in today's absolutely ridiculous car market, these R35 GTRs have not incredibly been inflated, and they also haven't really appreciated like astronomically as well over the years that they've been around. Now obviously this R35 GTR has been around for quite some time. I believe initially debuting in 2009 or 2008, but although the new GTRs can definitely cost you upwards of, like, I think they start at like 125-ish range, but you could still find like a used R35 GTR with lower mileage and in not like a terrible condition in the like 70s or like the $70,000 range. You can even find one as low as like 62 or 63 just from like a quick search on a few sites on the internet. Again, I don't know how well that, those deals would be once you start getting into like the low 60s and high 50s, but they're still an incredible price and a fantastic, car for the money, especially when compared to other like supercars or like entry-level supercars. Now, moving on from that and talking about the actual physical car itself, the second reason why I really love these GTRs has got to be its all-wheel drive system. This Ateza ETS system is honestly the secret weapon of the GTR. It's why it accelerates insane, like so quickly, and it's also why it beats out other cars with similar horsepower numbers and torque numbers when it comes to 0 to 60 time and quarter mile times. Now obviously when this car first hit the scene, everyone was absolutely just going crazy about how fast it accelerated and how quick it could get to the quarter mile, and even some of its top speed runs and roll race runs. And you've seen this car plenty and plenty times beat competitors when it comes to like super bikes or other cars that are pushing out ridiculous amount of power. And a lot of it has to do with that all-wheel drive system. The GTR itself is essentially like a computer on wheels. It's incredibly easy to drive, and when you pair this all-wheel drive system to the very tunable engine and the overall powertrain of the car, it's just like there's no beating it. It was kind of like the Teslas, how the Teslas are now today, where it's almost like a cheat code. That's kind of how the R35 GTR was when it came to street racing back in like the early 2010s, again when it was initially like hitting the scene. Now this Ateza system, it should not be confused with the all-wheel drive and all-wheel steering system found in the R32, R33, and R34 GTRs. It is kind of entirely different. This system is not all-wheel steering. However, there's a lot more technical components when you're taught, like you actually go down and break it down, and there's plenty of engineering channels on YouTube that actually break it down a lot better than what I'm kind of saying here today. So if you're interested in it, I definitely highly suggest searching up more about this Ateza ETS system, because it really is an incredible like mixture of mechanics and electronics in one. And again, it's really what makes this R35 GTR what it is. Now, staying on track and talking about the overall drivetrain of this R35 GTR, the third reason has got to be the power that it makes from factory and the potential for a ridiculous amount of power, which we've seen time and time again. Now, when it comes to the stock power numbers, they're really like underwhelming, especially in 2022. Whereas like the new GTRs, I know Nissan did discontinue them, but the last model year of the GTRs, which I believe was 2021, you could get them between 560 565 horsepower up into 600 horsepower even. However, they're incredibly detuned from factory. They have a ridiculous amount of upside potential when it comes to powerful numbers. I mean, hell, even the footage that you guys are watching right now, this is from a review that I did actually last spring, in the spring of 2021, and it's from a friend of mine whose GTR literally makes, in the video, is making 971 horsepower to the wheels, but on E85 it makes over 1100 wheel horsepower. And this specific GTR makes that power in an extremely reliable fashion, where the owner is still literally able to have it as a daily driver. So, you know, the overall like platform when it comes to the engine, transmission, the differentials, there's a couple like minor bugs, and there's things that do tend to fail. I know some people have had like drive shafts actually snap on them when they're really making a lot of power, and some axles fail and here and there. So eventually, like if you throw a ridiculous amount of power, something is going to break. However, when it comes to its competition, I honestly have not been able to see another modern or old vehicle really compare when it comes to the like overall reliability and drivability of just a ridiculous amount of power coming out of its output. Now, moving on, I have to say it's an incredibly balanced platform. It's probably my fourth reason when driving this GTR specifically. And by the way, if you want to check out the actual review I did on this GTR, it'll be linked on top of the video right now. But overall, it's a very, very balanced car. Like, it's not a straight line car. It's not necessarily a track car, but it's kind of somewhere in between. It has face-melting acceleration, and when that's compared to its incredible handling, again, from that Ateza ETS all-wheel drive system, it's a really incredible vehicle. The only real main downside, I guess, to the driving experience of an R35 GTR, and this is me kind of showing my own personal bias, but that's that they were never made with a manual transmission. However, if they were made with a manual transmission, who knows if they'd actually be able to, you know, be the absolute monsters that we know and love today. Now, going on to my fifth and final reason, we have the overall daily drivability, which is something that I kind of touched on when I was talking about the power and the power potential of these R35 GTRs. But the overall drivetrain, again, is incredibly tunable, and even when you mod it to high hell, plenty of tuners do so in a map format, where you can have like 4 or 5 or even up to like 10 different maps. So you can have an absolute kill mode that, you know, pushes the car to its extreme, or you can have like an eco mode that is kind of found in like the modern like Hellcats and other different cars. So like in 2008 and 2009, that was kind of unheard of, and this car was the first one to do it. And honestly, just looking at the car, like if you weren't a car person, the design isn't really incredible either. Like, yes, it is a GTR, it does look pretty aggressive, and it does look beautiful in its own sense. But overall, just like looking at the silhouette of the car, it's kind of like a low-key design to the average eye. Honestly, if I was just a regular person who wasn't really into cars and I saw a GTR on the road and I didn't know what it would just look like an Altima on steroids. That's basically it. The overall silhouette is very similar to a Nissan Altima. Obviously, you have wider rear and front fenders, and you have a more aggressive front fascia to it, and even like the interior too. There's plenty of pieces in the interior that Nissan recycled from the, you know, Altimas and the Sentras and their other models, and I love it because I'm not really into like the creature comforts and everything. I just love performance. So for me, again, this is why I love this generation of the GTR so much, because Nissan kind of cuts corners where it doesn't really matter. However, when it comes to the actual performance, I mean, every single one of these engines found in the R35 GTR are completely hand built by a team of like, I think like 5 to 10 guys. Like, there's not that many of them in their factory in Japan that literally hand build these engines. And then on top of that, the stock turbos, I believe, come from HKS, and they're built to the highest qualities. So Nissan really does not like to cut corners, especially when it comes to performance on this R35 GTR. But let me know what you guys think of this R35 GTR. Also, let me know down in the comments below how you feel about it being discontinued. Yes, I know it kind of sucks, but again, since 2008, 2009, it's had a pretty damn long run, and I think that it's definitely due for a change, and I cannot wait to see the potential of an R36 GTR getting released in the next few years or so. Before I end today's video, definitely be sure to do what I said before, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you're new. If you're already subscribed, click that little bell icon. All that stuff really does help me out an absolute ton as a smaller automotive YouTuber. But like always, thank you guys so much for the continued support. It really does mean the world to me. Thanks for sticking to the end of today's video. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. If you enjoyed today's video, click on either of these links right here to watch a similar video from this channel, or click on the little circle link right there to actually subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. I do appreciate all the support, but thank you for sticking to the end of this video, and I hope you have a fantastic day.